The 3rd of June 2025, coldish. There's been a lot of rain last night. Ground is very wet. It's a bit of a setback for farmers. Anyway, that's it. Now, folks, I want to just make this video. This is for the Polish people and the Poles who come here to Ireland. One priest out of the country said, only for the Poles, I'd have nobody at Mass. Now, Polish people came over here following the new change in the European laws that allows EU nationals to come here, but they have to still be vetted and checked. And most of the Poles I know would easily get in under my system, easily get in here. And if we never were members of the EU, we would almost certainly have, because we need it for economic purposes, people from Poland coming in, vetted by the Gardaí, coming in, full citizens as quick as possible, and away they go. They march in the Patrick's Day parade, they go to the Mass, which is up to them what they do or not. I don't know what religion they all are. They're generally Roman Catholics, and so they'd be of the same type of way of thinking as ourselves. You don't usually get them in the pubs. I only ever knew one to go into a pub for a drink, and that's a thing about our population. As the population of foreigners increases, pubs do poorly, they're closing up. So I'm not saying whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that. But I have a few Polish friends, a few good Polish friends, and I've employed them. And I always remember when I was building my shed back in the 2007, going down, and the poor fellow was there on his own and nobody with him, and I went down to chat him. And it was a terrible cold February day, and I was just saying, imagine a Polish fella coming over to work, putting in sheds for me. And but that was it. But so that's the thing. I'm not against proper migration. Now, the thing too is that Poland has a president. No, they have. Now, he's the Prime Minister of Poland. He's woke, pro-EU, but not big on migration. It has to be said, he's a wee bit conservative, but he has been trying to put in his policies, his pro-European policies, which means woke anyway, into Poland, but he has been stopped by President Duda, whose 2 terms were up. Now, let me explain the Polish system as best I understand it. In Ireland, you have a Dáil, elected government. They pass laws that goes to the president for signing. The president is sort of obliged to sign them. He can refer them here and there on constitutional matters, but by and large he cannot refuse to sell a bill, to sign a bill that he doesn't agree with. So, for example, if I had won the last election and been appointed Taoiseach, I'd immediately have a bill in to deport all the unwanted migrants in here, horse them out, and he wouldn't like signing it. But if he didn't sign it, he'd invoke a constitutional crisis. So the first thing I'd be doing is getting a constitutional crisis, because I'd say Michael D wouldn't sign it. So that's all right. So we'd confront him. So that's the position. So anyway, in Poland, you cannot get the bill passed unless the president agrees. He has more power to veto a bill. He can veto a bill, whereas President Higgins can technically veto a bill provided it's on constitutional law, but he can't do that on policy. And it's the same with the King in England, with King Charles. If the bill is to let in the whole of Africa into the UK, and Keir Starmer wants it and passes it through Parliament, while Prince Charles could kick up a bit and use very old type powers in the common law, and that, he'd have a big problem. He'd have a constitutional crisis where the monarchy would be at odds with the British government, and that is a constitutional crisis that's to be avoided at all costs. And that's good law in a way. And it's the same in Ireland. The president has to sign the will of the people. He can't go against the will of the people if the will of the people says so. But we have an oddity in Ireland, in that we have the will of the people is bypassed. Now, anyway, the Polish people have voted in Karol Nawrocki goodbye, Karol, as their new president. And he has more powers than our fella, and he's in. He got 59.9%. Now, I'm going to do something now to my Polish friends. Pass this around among yourselves. I want to congratulate your people for putting in a decent man in there. He's a boxer. He loves his football. He's a normal man, and he's not married to an owl on 30 years of senior. He's very, he's our best of a fella, and he is on my side of the argument. So he'll be a balance against Tusk and leave Tusk a lame duck, and his victory, it lines up the Conservatives for the 2027 elections, and it helps our cause. Now, Tusk has been trying to change the judiciary, making it more progressive. Now, I used to think the government could appoint judges, all right, but what we now know, what happened in Romania is, where there was a forerunner in the election, the judges who were appointed by at the behest of the EU and the left-wing government managed to put him out. In France, the very same thing happened. So it's not a case of having nice little judges that are nice and goody, and they're women and they're homosexuals and they're lesbians and they're this, that and the other. It's not a case of that. It's a case that if you let them crowd in, they'll block the people's will at the ballot box. And that's what happened in Romania. Sorry, the crows are going mad out here. But anyway, so you see the point. So Tusk wants them kind of judges in, and this man doesn't want them in. He wants traditional judges. Now, this man happens to be a Roman Catholic, and please, anyone that's not a Roman Catholic, I'm not running you down. If you're a Muslim or anything else, you must have the same principles as me. That's all I'm saying to you. Now, I don't understand this mass abortion. Because in where we need children, can we not support women that get pregnant? Give them every help. Our Irish women. And even Polish girls. Putting out the baby. But this man is and there's very strict abortion laws in Poland, and Tusk is dying to get them all aborted. He can't wait to smash the babies' heads at 9 months. And this man is going to carry on the Duda principle. Now, Duda was the previous two-term president. He was on our side. He was a Conservative. Now, this man, he's congratulated this man now, Karaki. He's congratulated him. He's congratulated for winning the election. And I must apologise for that bloody crow. Only I haven't the heart. I go to scare him off. Anyway, he's crowing out there and he's cawing out of him late in the morning. But anyway, the thing is, Donald Tusk Donald Tusk hates this fella. The existing President Duda congratulated him. I'm over the moon, 50.9%. I want the Polish people, if they listen to me, I want you to contact your people at home and saying that a farmer with cows, Val Martin, has congratulated them. I'm so proud of you Polish people. The Poles are good people. They're good people. I like them. I have a good old time for them. Now, the thing about it is, he is against mass abortion. You know, can we not? But sure, the babies, it'd be great to have them. That's my view. It'd be great. Huh? No, he's against liberalising the judiciary, which we now know does not mean having the judiciary liberal or with more understanding. It means blocking my type of politics and declaring the winners of elections void. Imagine judges in Romania can tell the people they can't select their candidate. Imagine in France they can tell the people they can't select the candidate. That's the situation. Now, he went over to Trump for a day. He was very busy. He got a photograph with Trump and he got his endorsement. Now, folks, isn't that a pretty picture? Isn't that a pretty picture? Isn't that a pretty picture? That's him. With the barrel Donald. What are the woke judges doing in America? They're blocking him deporting the migrants. They're blocking him deporting the migrants. So when a strong Sinn Féin supporter tackled me the other day on the street and said, how are you going to keep out the migrants? Well, that's the first thing. You keep the judges to hell out of it. So only for those judges and fake law that allows migrants to come in and behave as if they're normal citizens, they'd be gone. And they can't get rid of some of them because the courts are interceding. So you see the point about appointing good judges and the point that this man has in blocking the woke judges. Now, I just want to see. So there you are. There he is. There he is. I wouldn't mind having him for my next door neighbour, I'll tell you that. Now, what? It is a blow to the EU. They are probably going to try to oust him. It's not easy because they don't have the judges nobbled. You can see from what I'm telling you that we're not living in a European Union democracy. We're living in a dictatorship when they can decide who is allowed to be president or leader of a country and who isn't. This is a shameful situation. We are no longer a free people, okay? But it's a little step in the right direction. If any Polish people watch my channel and agree with me, then you can do me a favour by encouraging your people at home to think the way I do. I do not want an isolated Ireland. I think it would be very sad if we couldn't have a political link to the Polish people and where we can be on a common way of doing things. I think it would be sad too if we don't have a link to the British people, the Scottish people, the Welsh people, and good people in Italy. What's wrong is the woke left have grabbed and stolen all we have from us. And they are pushing their mad woke ideology, their renewable energy codology, and their climate baloney. But a few countries sees it differently. Britain saw it with Brexit. The Germans, the second top party there is the ADF, coming on there. They must wake up. The Italians elected Giorgia Meloni, a great person. The Romanians were blocked, agreed. But they can possibly, maybe, they got in a woke lad. And there's talk now of that election being rigged. The French have been deprived of their right. But yet it seems that this man's going to be able to take power. And what I want you Polish people to do is sow the seeds of voting for the Conservative candidate among your people at home. You must get this message across, that unless you get your people to change, Ireland is finished, your home for the future is finished, if this is where you want to settle, and Poland is finished as well. This man does agree with help for Poland, for Ukraine, but he doesn't agree with them joining the EU, and he doesn't agree with them joining NATO. So that was always my position. A neutral Ukraine, ploughing along on its own, prospering. But the West, the NATO, the wokes want to push Putin out, and they have led us to war. And they'll have your Ukrainian children born in Ireland joining an Irish army under the command of a German general. Do you really want your children serving in the military under a German general when Hitler's forces marched into your country, Poland, and tried to take it off you? Do you really want that? Well, the answer is, I know most of you do not. And you need to join with people like me. I don't want to be the leader of anything, but you need to join with my way of thinking and get your people at home. Never, ever again vote for left-wing candidates. All right, folks, comment underneath, but at least it's a lovely thing that the people of Poland, in a free and fair election, come along and vote for that man, that great man there. He's a right old fella, good old trustworthy fella. He's Nowarocky. He's Karol Nowarocky. And the best of luck to you and the Polish people, and the best of luck to him. And let's lean for the day when we get rid of the left-wing, cultural Marxist, woke communists to hell off our back, and we get freedom back. If we're to have a European Union, well, then we need to go back and install it on freedom principles and get these creeps off our back. Thank you, Polish people, and congratulations to you all. Bye-bye. Good luck.